Chiclescha, Ina Corno Niltosh, Huzunza. Everyone, take good care of yourself. Everyone. You always respect the river. Give us water to drink, give us the fish. So it's really powerful. Ooh, 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 ooh. My name is Don Stevens. I was born 12/27/51. My Indian name was Dizit. My auntie, Lily, she called me Dizit because I was right there when my mother needed me or something, you know, Dizit. My earliest memories is they sent my father to the hospital in Bethel, and so he passed away there with that TB, and they buried him. He was buried down there. So I grew up with a mother. When I was 2, 3, 4 years old, we moved to Fort Yukon, and then, boy, we had, well, everybody had a tough time back in those days, you know, and we had to get wood. You could imagine that all the good wood is cut out, you know, so you had to go further and further and further. The only wood we could get was digging out stumps. It was tough work, but it was good work. And my mom used to make me 2 little coffee cans, put rope on there, and go down to the river and pack water. You use that water for cooking and washing dishes, and day and a half, and you got to fill it up again, you know. So, and as I got older, and the buckets got bigger, so so we had to go hunting, you know. Springtime for ducks and stuff, you know, and fall time for try to get moose, you know, and everybody had fish wheel in the villages. Seemed like the guys, the men, they know that I had no father, you know, and they always get me, like go fish camping, hunting, you know, going hunting and stuff. And I learned how to work on fish and cut fish just from that, you know, and I had my brother was right there with me. And he's strong like me. We got strong that way, you know. The community always was like that, you know. They don't leave those kids out that need help. I started school maybe 55. And you wouldn't believe who my teacher was. Representative Don Young. He was teacher then, Fort Yukon. He was a tough teacher, and he got that like that, so we had to listen. I passed that grade too, you know. Mom, she moved us back down to Stevens. Even in Stevens, we were getting low on food sometime, you know. There's no way we could help it that we got no food. It just so happened, you know, we had no dad to work for us. But the people, what they did, they got one big sled and they went to all the houses, pushed that sled around. What they could spare, they put in that sled. By the time they get back to the house, there was whole sled full of food that was given to us, you know. And this happened, I remember, a couple of times. Our communities always look out for stuff like that, and we were really thankful. So I continued up to 8th grade, and then we had to go to high school in Shamawa, Oregon. They were sending all the students down there because there's no high school here. I went out to Shamawa, and it was good. I met a lot of other people, you know, and I just end up with more friends that I met from the coast, up in Barrow and southeast, it just went out. That's how it was, And there was football. A lot of native kids were in it. And that coach just say, go in there and put gear on. And they didn't even help me. I didn't know football gear. There was shoes there and football pants and a helmet. Put it on and come on out there. I couldn't walk and it was just too awkward for me, And so I just went back in the gym, just took all that off, and I joined cross country. Oregon, they're known for good cross country runners. There was 8 top runners they're going to take the team. And so I made it. I was 7th man. Leonard Huntington, he was our top runner from Galena, Huntington. And Arnold Marks is another one. Something like about 200-300 runners. And that was 2.5-mile run. They even matched us up with bigger schools because we were good runners, Boy, it was really something. And we really made a good name for that Indian school. Being top runners, we took state 3 years. And I went to Mount Edgecombe and I ran there, went 2 years there, and I finished in Mount Edgecombe High School. So, and that was the end of my schooling. In '72, they were getting ready for build the pipeline, and the roads and stuff. So I went to truck driving training in Seward, and then came along July 4th. I ran in that race down there, Mount Marathon. I did okay in that. I finished it, and so I got into the Teamsters. I started out the 18-wheelers, big belly dumps. I drove those and those big cat wagons. There was 4, 5, 6 camps along from the Yukon River on up to Prudhoe. And I was right there when they tied in. I was coming down from the north, right around Galbraith, right around there. How they had a big ceremony where we were working this way, coming south, and they were coming north this way. We tied in like that. And I was there at that moment, and I drove all the way till the pipeline was done. And then I came home after, and I almost left this earth when I was driving through there in wintertime. Adigan Pass, that's a big mountain up there, and I was coming up with a big cat wagon full of gravel and stuff, and we were taking it on the side of the mountain, and I almost slid off. I started losing traction, and I just backed that truck right against a mountain there. I built my own home, and the village guys, we always help each other, Like if a guy's going out to, say he's going to cut logs for home, we cut 60, 70 of them. And then we let it dry for a year up there, where we cut it upriver, let them dry like that, and make raft and bring it down. People step up and we help each other that way, And build a house. And we had 4 girls and a boy, and we raised them up right there, Stevens Village. Summertime I do crew busing, firefighting for many years because I sure enjoyed that, And I worked that same time I worked for council stuff in village, and then for a long time I was in Fish and Game. I represent the the village, and then continued to work in the sub-region, for Yukon Flats Fish and Game Committee. I was on that for years, just representing the people, and the communities. So it was always the good fight for the people, that way, In the early 60s, my mother and her friend, there used to be a good fishing area 30 miles above Stevens. Used to be a whirlpool area where through the islands up there, whirlpool, they always say where current go like this, and we set our camp right in a good area where we could watch at net, because beaver, sometimes they get caught in there and they'll tear that whole net up. Same thing with bears too. They try to take fish out of the net. So what we do, we keep while we're in camp, we watch all the time. The scraps, the guts and the fish head and stuff like that, we always put it across the river. That way the animals, bears and stuff, wolves and stuff, they want to eat, we let them eat, and they respect that, and we put that food there for them, and that way they don't come into camp that way. Black ducks, they're part of our diet too, that we get and stuff, and when they come in first part of June, big lakes in the back of the Yukon there, and a lot of lakes, and the female is already sitting back there in the nest, and all the males come out to the Yukon. It's just kind of like a ritual they do. That's why you see them all floating down like that. I think they go after a little bit of fish around there, And that's how our family first started out. They started fishing in that area because it was good fishing. Being that Lost Creek right there too, they get a lot of pike. There's always a lot of pike in that Lost Creek. And gee, thank the good Lord, to this day, the Eddie's still working good. It's still, you could still get fish out of it. And ain't that something, huh? This old man, Jeffrey Adams, his nickname was Stump. Tough guy, really strong, native guy, and he told me, Don, I got allotment back there, Fishnet Lake. We're going to get canvas and paint, little food. He said, that's all. Get a lot of 22 shells. Going out to muskrats, springtime. We start putting a little bit of money, saving a little bit of money, and we're going to charter a little plane, he told me, little Super Cub. He's going to fly me back first, he said, and then that plane will come back and get you. He took off, and all he had was little rip saw, hammer, little nails, and that plane came back. That Super Cub, you just sit right behind that pilot right there, So we just start putting those cans of food, rice, just take it out of the boxes and pile it up all around you like that, all the way up the air. And he started getting way back to the mountains. Gee, I forgot where I dropped him off. It's just the lakes, thousands of lakes back at the flats, I'm getting low on fuel, he said. Out of good luck, I seen Stump, little man on there waving away like that. We were happy then. He's dropped that little Super Cup and pow. Old man, Stump, he was sure happy that I made it. He just laughed, And so anyway, we started working there, and that was 15th of April. That next day, he looked around, he said, we're going to cut these down right here. couple of trees, and for about 2 days, 3 days, I was ripping with that handsaw, making lumber slabs for the canoe. And he was working on a headpiece and the tailpiece on the canoe, which is roots from trees, you know. And maybe 2 weeks we had 2 canoes sitting right there. By then there was little water along the lakes. There was muskrats coming out all over the place, you know, and so we hunt that area around where his allotment was, and then we start moving around down the sloughs and other areas. Coming out of East Fork, coming into Doll River, that's where people come out when they're coming back home to the village. And there's this one high hill, people call it Coffee Hill. We stopped there because we had to make coffee. We come to the Yukon. We had to paddle down from up there all the way down to Stevens. Sure was good. We had our 2 canoes there. Everybody come down and look at our canoes, and you know. He sure taught me a lot. He talked about when he was a young man and how his parents raised him up back that country. How our people used to live off the land, you know, and how our people were really strong. And me, I was a young man, and it was just going in me, you know, just going. I was just picking up all that stuff. That's the last time he was back in that country, and that's where he grew up and he loved, and his parents. And I helped him on his last leg of that, and which I'm pretty happy for, you know. And if nothing else come out of it, we take care of our elders, because they're the ones that took care of us, you know. So. Village people, they want names. They said, Don, could you get a name for my youngest one, you know? Igut means go. Igut means really go, and this boy really work all the time. And it got to a point where I've been naming a lot of kids presently, in Beaver, and in Stevens too. Old people used to say that times are going to get tough. You got to get ready for it. Got to put stuff away, they used to say. That kind of advice I like to give. I always talk to young people today, even today. I said, you got to take care of yourself and stay away from the drugs and alcohol, because that's one that's going to tear you down. Have a good life, and you got to work today. Mom, she made me a dance outfit. Pretty soon I was drummer, and pretty soon I was hit singer, you know, and then all the rest of the families, they followed me. We had memorial, and that memorial was for my mom that passed on. She brought us through tough times, you know, growing up and stuff, and it just continued that circle. The good Lord gave us a lot of fish that time, and come back. Like we see it right here in the TCC with the emblems, you know, different season and stuff, you know, and that we have to get ready for and go through it and move on. So.